Formula One is back, people, and we are in the final stretch now since this race weekend just happened in Coda and next week in Mexico, which also means things are starting to heat up in many areas of the championship, and man, I am so ready. This season, for better, but definitely worse, has been a bit boring since, yeah, the stories are cool, but dude, I want to see good racing, and this season has had everything but that. However, since Monza, Red Bull decided we should have some fun since from then on, Red Bull have been close to the MCL 39 and, for being honest, ahead of it, albeit it's by like very little, but regardless, that once invincible car now has some steep competition in the form of less so Red Bull but more so Max. Yes, he is 60 points away from the lead and unlikely to nab it up. However, who's to say he can't do it? What, is he just gonna have a DNF or crash in the race? Come on, when has Max ever done that? So completely out of nowhere, things are super heated and all we need now is good racing, which guess what? We are in Coda. Coda, or Circuit of the Americas, is a proper circuit since it's sort of a culmination of all the best bits from a variety of tracks. You got super duper long straights, twisty corners, tight corners. I mean, if there is going to be an exciting race with everything on the line, this circuit is perfect for making everything dramatic. And this weekend is already appearing to be very tight since, given everything we know from the season, McLaren should love this track with the exception of the straights, and Max should also love this track since this is one of his best performing circuits. So now we need to put all our hope in Red Bull and ensuring Max gets a good car. I really got nothing else to say about this weekend since I'm excited, man. How could I not be? All season long, it's the same two cars on the podium trying to win in the worst way they can, and it gets frustrating after a while. If you're going to be dominant, the least he could do is actually have that reflected on track by winning with the giant gap and not trying to strategy fail your way to victory. It's time, Max. Even if you can't win it all, at least end the season on a bang, unless McLaren beat you to it. But that's enough talking. You know that this track is good by now, so let's cut the BS. Let's recap the weekend and find some winners and losers from it. So go join the Discord to experience the weekend live and subscribe if you're new if you're a European who's up way too late. So enough yapping and let's get to quacking.
See those clouds up in the corner? That's where the rain is coming from.
As always, people, we start with the recap, and we got some stuff to cover leading to Friday. Firstly, I guess Halloween came early since every team on the grid for some reason is playing dress up with their liveries. Racing Bulls are dressing up as their engine failures this season. Aston Martin put on some green makeup and math equations. Don't really know how to make a bit out of that. McLaren are paying tribute to the 7 McLaren Aero car from IndyCar. Williams are cosplaying the good old days of their success. Alpine are whatever the fuck, and Haas are reminding us they are American. I find this really strange, you know, because like, what's the occasion, guys? You're not a sunny Miami or glittering Las Vegas, you're in the middle of nowhere in Texas. Like, I just find it strange that all the teams decided to change things up for this weekend, but okay, whatever. By the way, McLaren have the best looking car by far. I will not be taking complaints. Other than that though, we got some scary news, y'all. Firstly, our glorious president, Fior Sulayem, will be re-elected after all opposition dropped out of the race due to obscure rules. I mean, can it sound more fascist than that? We don't even know what the obscure rules are since it has something to do with other officials from around the world, and there's only one in South America that declared for MBS, which makes all the other candidates invalid to run. Something like that. I don't know, man. It's just disappointing because not a single soul in or out of the FIA like him, yet he is allowed to just keep his position through obscure rules or whatever. I need to calm down. The other bit of worrying news is how F1 has signed a new deal with Apple for streaming rights, and to be honest, I have no clue what this means. I watch my F1 through F1 TV Pro, yet the wording makes it sound like Apple TV will be the only way to watch F1, so I'm gonna pray that's not coming true. Unless it's a good thing, I don't know. Other than that though, Russell finally got his contract to drive for Mercedes next year, which, you know the whole issue with that mess, along with Kimi getting his as well. I still don't know what game Toto was trying to play by delaying their deserved contracts for so long, but at least it's done now. If Merc are really to be as good as they are rumored to be for next year, then I am so ready for Russell to be world champion. But that's it for the news, which means we got the sessions to cover, which by the way are sprint formats, so let us see what FP1 and sprint qualifying has for us on Friday.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
FP1 begins, and it's the usual shenanigans. Drivers lock up, drivers go wide, but since this track also has crazy turns, we got this moment from Yuki going through the S's, along with Max saying his car is bottoming too much. You know it's bad when Max is saying that. But yeah, it was a relatively calm session despite all the technical troubles reported by some and whatever Hadjar's engineer was smoking, so there really isn't much to report. And this is kind of bad because that's it for practice. We immediately moved to sprint qualifying, and I don't know what to think. Red Bull certainly looked fast, but McLaren also seemed pretty dang fast as as well. The midfield also seems to be ultra tight, so let's at least hope things can still be crazy good, beginning with sprint quali. As Q1 begins, and as if practice couldn't get more redundant, the winds have changed and the grip is gone, so everyone is back to square one. And I guess the team's intellect have also reset, since somehow not one, not two, and in fact, I don't know how many teams, maybe the whole damn grid, left it too late, which saw like 6 drivers eliminated immediately once the flag started waving. They were dead-ass racing to the line, yet none of them could even make it. And I'm supposed to believe this sport is the most competent motorsport? Well, whatevs. 2 houses found dead, a bigger traffic jam than LA in the pit lane, and 1 euthanization for Yuki later, and it's SQ2 time, and I wish I had something to tell you. Q2s tend to be the most boring session, so I got nothing. The notable thing that happened was Kimi getting knocked out by the red team, which is making me worry a bit since I did say Kimi would win the sprint race. Oh well, you never know. Though it's SQ3 time, and with the McLarens and specifically Norris looking fast, let's see if they can convert it to pole, or if somebody else can spank them away. Can you guess what happened? So Max took pole away and he starts ahead of Lando and Oscar respectively, while Hulk is 4th and technically the fastest Ferrari powered car today. Why, red team? Why? So that was a boring sprint quality session, but this is a racetrack, so let's see how the sprint race can end up tomorrow on Saturday along with the main qualifying. So with Max and Lando starting alongside each other, lap 1 begins, and hey, they didn't crash and lived happily ever after. Why is the picture so cropped? Okay, so turn 1 sees Max completely unbothered. However, Norris like usual started shit, which invited Oscar. So what happened? Well, Hulk was on the inside of Oscar, which launches Oscar beautifully into Lando Norris, taking them both out at once. Sex doesn't even feel as good as this, and would you believe me when I said this wasn't even Hulk's fault? Someone else was on the inside of Hulk, and who was it? Oh, you know, Max's #1 glazer this season, Fernando Bloody Alonso. Man, oh man, you just can't write this. I am so damn high right now, so let's all calm down with the safety car out right now. So caution is in, and the start is much more calmer, and despite George trying to pressure Max, Max is faster and starts to disappear. Further back, the Ferrari swapped positions after Charles was stupid yet again, and just some great racing now, until Stroll and Ocon crash was surprise. However, this means my random prediction was right. See kids, keep gambling, because one day you will score. So the sprint race ends with Max winning and both McLarens DNFing. What a life. But that's just the sprint, folks. Despite Max not happy with his car, he has a lifeline, since we have the main stuff now starting with full qualifying, and with both McLarens also having a lifeline, how can they all do? So Q1 begins, and never mind, Hadjar spun it into the barrier with his car catching on fire. Wait, that's the livery. Big shame for him though, since he had pace, but I guess not the focus right now. So the red flag lifts, and now we have a proper qualifying session, and it seems McLaren may be in a bit of trouble. I mean, they don't look bad by any means, but they certainly look beatable, which is all I need to be happy. Also, not to get all strange, Ferrari seemed way faster in qualifying, which is nice, but ultimately won't matter considering their Lyco addictions for Sunday. So Q1 ends with not much happening outside the first minute, with the only notable thing being Hulkenberg, Gasly, and Lawson tickling the top 5, and Alex Broadband making a return. Speaking of frauds, Q2, since I could have spent 12 minutes so much better than whatever that was. I legit couldn't even tell you what happened other than Pastry looking a bit weird and Ollie in the top 10. So let's see what Q3 has in store. Max is looking fast, McLaren specifically Lando is looking fast, and out of nowhere we have Ferrari looking rapid too. So game on. Piastri is on a used tire and is absolutely nowhere at all. Russell initially goes fastest before Norris is able to get him, before Max is able to get him by 4 whole tenths. I mean, my god. These are only the first runs though. Maybe someone can get him on the final run, and it seems Max is daring the entire grid to do so since he just misses out on setting his final lap, but no one can get near him despite it. So Max is on pole from Norris and Leclerc, who somehow got 3rd. So ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Sunday, race day. May God help us all. Lap 1 begins, and after a crazy start yesterday, things were much calmer thankfully for today, with Charles getting ahead of Lando on the soft. But just as quick, Lando is attacking Charles, which is leading to a nice battle between the two while Max disappears out front. While that is going on, Sainz and Antonelli decide to fulfill our rush for a crash by, crashing. It was a clear racing incident, but if someone was to be at fault, then it would be Sainz. Anyways, after a short VSC, the battle resumes and Leclerc enters his pit window, but he makes sure to benefit Max as much as he could before he pits, which seems to go on forever since Lando tries and tries and tries, but he just can't overtake Leclerc. Red team, you're winning my heart again. Eventually Lando gets ahead again and Leclerc finally pits off of the soft. Now the race comes down with not much action, but the track is changing now according to Max, who is coincidentally dropping time to Norris. Also crazy is the fact that it is 80 something degrees and the teams are one stopping with mediums and bloody softs. Why on earth would Pirelli and F1 want the tires like this? So people are starting to box, including the top two, so let's see how things can go to the end. And as if we're not tired of them yet, Charles and Lando start fighting again, this time with the tires reversed, and this fight will seem to go on to the end while Max continues to dance off in the distance. But maybe the fight is done since Lando is already complaining about tires, which I can't really blame him because he is on pretty used softs, classic McLaren. But Lando is making up the difference now, and as we enter the final laps, Lando is attacking Charles again and he needs to defend on his mediums against Lando's softs. But we know the expected outcome, so Lando is able to get ahead and the race ends with the same top 3 as qualifying. Overall, I had fun here and it was a great race all around, but Pirelli, come on, be better. Now for the winners and losers, and we got losers first up, and I begin with Alex Albon. Alex unfortunately is going through it. For what? I don't know, but he is, since right now he's getting spanked up and shipped back to his mother's womb by Sainz, which is ironic considering he was doing the same to Carlos for the better part of the year, but now Carlos has decided to be good again, which is bad for Alex. He absolutely needs to get his form back aside from his pride, since this midfield battle is extremely unpredictable. Let's say Carlos is well and truly back. What if he DNFs in the points and Alex is in bumfuck 13th while Racing Bulls are 7th and 6th? In a matter of mere seconds, Williams could be on the back foot and maybe lose 5th in the standings right at the line. Do I think that will happen? No, like, not at all, but cut me some slack. Alex all week from FP1 to the Grand Prix has been slow. There's really no direct reason other than skill issues, so let's hope Alex doesn't crumble to non-existent pressure and can instead fight back and give us all a show. Just not McLaren style. Next up is Gabby, since exactly like Alex, he was just getting spanked by his Delph teammate, and I'd say it was worse for Gabby since at least Alex did score some points and did fight others. Gabby was instead honoring his beginning of the season by gooning his 16th all weekend long, while Hulk was hulking out in the points. And recently, in fact, Gabby has been on the back foot since I like to think he has the exact opposite condition of Kimi. What I mean is, Kimi was sucking straight unwashed balls in Europe, scoring points only 3 times in the continent while he was great everywhere else. Gabby, for contrast, had an amazing European portion while he has been sucking everywhere else. Maybe I'm too imaginative and nothing is really happening, but let a man be whimsy. Gabby for sure needs to smile again, so who knows? Maybe Mexico can be good again so he could be all prepared and fresh for his home race in Sao Paulo. Next is Haas, since just like last year, they disappointed in their home race, and also like in Miami. It's sad to see this, especially after their strong start to the year, but that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Despite Ollie scoring points and showing good pace, that's more him than the team because their strategy today certainly was not it. I mean, to me, it's getting painfully obvious they just stopped caring about this season in favor of next, I hope. So let's see if there is any benefit in doing that. But for now, they may as well wrap it up in the midfield battle. Despite having tons of points, they were 9th and a bit away from Sauber. So let's hope whatever prize money they get and the extra wind tunnel time is worth it. Because with my departure from the red team, I need Haas to lock in. And I don't mean by getting my predictions true, which I appreciate, but please score some bloody points. Moving on is Isaac Hadjar, since this one was pretty slam dunk. I mean, he wasn't that bad, but it was just one of those, you know? Everything that could go wrong did go wrong, along with some bits of self-inflicted failure. All weekend long, he couldn't match Liam pace-wise, which led to the sprints for him being less than ideal. And when he was given the second opportunity in the main stuff, he immediately crashes in qualifying and couldn't make any dent in the race. Hadjar is still good as we know, but he does have his slumpy races here and there, and this week was one of those he should forget. So yeah, at least he didn't DNF. Finally, I have McLaren, since boy oh boy did it leave me cheesing. Less so Lando, since he really wasn't too bad and was in fact pretty good this week. Maybe he could have gone a bit faster, but I'm not going to fault him too much, so I'm not going to talk about him. Pastry, on the other hand, since day one, I have been saying y'all are overrating him and should keep your expectations of him real. He is a third-year driver, not a seasoned veteran, and here we are. Piastri is crumbling super hard under pressure since, yeah, Singapore was unfortunate, but he couldn't get ahead of Lando, who had damage, and then in Baku he crashed, and now in Coda, well, you know the sprint by now. I don't care if he felt justified to go for the switchback. This is Coda turn 1. Always expect a car unless you see everybody in your mirrors. Then in the main qualifying, he was nowhere, man. Lando was at least fast in second and also in the race, but what the hell happened, Oscar? Obviously, this killed his race and his championship leader. Are you kidding me? Lock in, Oscar. Lock in. Now for the winners, and I have Max Verstappen. Guys, there are no more tests. The only track where I believe the Red Bull car will look bad is in Abu Dhabi, which is the final race, so Max in these next 4 races needs to continue being the best. Qatar may also be an issue, but if he could win Mexico, Brazil, and Vegas, guys, he's winning the damn title. I mean, he was just fantastic this week. He was comfortably fastest of all, and there's just no words left to say. We know he won, we know he's great, so let's see in a week's time if he could keep this up. Also, Yuki was great today and shouldn't be forgotten about, so great job Red Bull all around. Fuck you, Horner. Next up is Ferrari. I'm gonna keep it short because I'm still not fully back with them, but they did at least show improvement today. Taking away the sprints, they were pretty fast and good here all week with Charles, and Lewis was also pretty good here. That's all I'm gonna say. If they want me truly back, they need to show me more and why they matter. I'm wishing them the best. Next is Sainz, who was simply amazing this weekend. We're not talking about the crash. Whatever was in the air in Europe clearly affected Carlos, since the moment we leave the general area, he is on fire. Podium, back of the grid to points, and a sprint podium and main points in Coda. I mean, great job, Carlos. His beginning of the season was, like I said, very bad and borderline embarrassing, but finally, he is looking like the driver James AEIOU was salivating over. He spat on Alex's shoes and took all of his glory, and the only question we have now is, how long can this keep up? Because with Alex down and out seemingly, Williams desperately needs a driver again, so I don't think they need to worry. Personally, I think Carlos from here on could do very well and maybe sneak into the top 10 of the standings. Who knows, but if someone can be consistent, it can be Carlos. Next up is Hulk, who was stellar this weekend. After a few races where he looked average or at worst bad, he finally had a weekend where he could be proud again. I mean, yeah, he did get punted in the sprint, but that's less his fault, more so pastry and the bullshit factor. Hulk was getting really slapped up by Gabby, which is bad because this is the first time in a while where Hulk looked straight up uncomfortable in a car. Plus, considering his age, there was a moment where I thought maybe things will wrap up soon for him, and while that may still happen soon, at least this weekend proved he still has it. Hulk typically performs really nice in this part of the season, so I wouldn't be surprised if him and Sauber can continue to contend for points and even score some more. Finally, I have Alonso. You know the drill with him. Alonso was on the front lines trying to score for Aston, and while nothing really came of it with P10, man, I gotta respect the effort. Everything that can go wrong always goes wrong for him, so just seeing his fighting spirit and determination, it brings a tear to my eye. So I don't know what else to say other than maybe this is a winner out of pity for him, but at least he's giving absolutely everything. Now for the bonus category, and I have the most blank driver for the blank blankiest blanky driver, and I choose blank blank. Blank 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 blank. Finally, let's see how my predictions ended up along with my bingo card. My sprint predictions, ooh boy, maybe I should stop doing this. My qualifying predictions were pretty wrong, but I did get 3 of the drivers right. My race predictions were pretty wrong like usual. My random prediction was somehow right. I don't even know either. Your predictions were wrong, but somehow the troll of the group was the most right. And finally, my bingo card was wrong. So I'm sorry to say, guys, no Yuki win. So those were my winners and losers for Coda. Overall, I had fun like always, but we cannot keep talking about Coda since we have Mexico next week already and we gotta shift focus. I'm sad the season's near its end, but at least next year will be big, so there is that, I guess. Anyways, I want to give a quick shout out to all members of the flock for the continued support. Make sure to donate for all cool benefits as well as just helping me out. Anyways, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe so it really helps me out. Make sure to let me know in the comments who your winners and losers are. And as always, have an amazing day.
Good weather for the duck.